Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Leading Ladies Talks, where women come together to share their stories on passion, resilience, and the conversations here make you feel like you are not alone, regardless of where your journey in life is. We share stories of women in business, professionals, business leaders, and of course, women like you that are forging a way for themselves, regardless of whatever challenges life has thrown at them. So today, my guest is one of our community members at the Leadingladiesconnect. I know some of you watching might not be familiar with the community. Our community was created to connect women to each other, to opportunities, and to God as well. So I'm happy to present one of our community members, Gaelle, today. I'm happy to have you on the show with me. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for having me.
Honestly, I am so thrilled to have you here. Fun fact about Gaelle, she makes this very yummy snacks. If you're from Nigeria or West Africa, you would know chin chin. It's very popular and it is so yummy. But before we get into everything else that Gaelle has done, I just wanted to, welcome you to the episode. And, introductory question for most of our guests would be, if you had an opportunity to actually talk to a 14-year-old version of Gaelle now, what would you be telling her?
I'll be telling her to trust herself more and to not be afraid.
Right.
Those are the two main things for me. Trust yourself and not be afraid.
Trust yourself and do not be afraid. So, speaking about fear, of course, I'm Christian, and the Bible says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of a sound mind. I know that starting a business is a leap of faith. You want to run us through like the history of how you got into this food business and how it's been running the business?
Sure. So the reason why I started my business was because I had to listen to that little voice inside of myself that was keep talking to me since I was in high school. Yes. And then you're in high school, you're in university, you get married, you have children. And that little voice is still there and it's still talking to you every time you feel like, okay, I'm just going to be a mom and that's it. Or I'm just going to be a wife. I'm going to do my 9 to 5. And that little voice is like, no, that's not what I created
There's
you
more
to be.
to you.
There's so much more to you. So that's what happened. And the reason why specifically Chin Chin, if we want to dive into that, is because when I arrived in Canada in 2003, that was many years ago.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. The first thing as an immigrant, you look for comfort food when you arrive somewhere you've never been before, right? So that's the first easy thing for you to look for because you want something that's going to remind you from your home country. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was Chin Chin because I used to do it with my mom and with my sisters. So I was looking for that feelings of being somewhere, right? Of belonging. And I went to different grocery stores in Toronto and I couldn't find Chin Chin. And I remember my husband was telling me about, Canada is so full of immigrant,
It's a melting pot.
yes, so there's people from different background, and I was like, okay, so maybe I will find what I'm looking for. And I was surprised that I couldn't find anything in major retail stores. And in 2003, we didn't have African stores as we have today.
Right.
So there was nothing like that in 2003. So I started doing it myself, right? And then sharing with my kids, my community, and stuff like that. But then I was like, okay, when different African stores started popping up, I'll go to the African store, but still I was missing that home taste that my mom used to make.
Right.
And I said, okay, because the African store that we have, which is good, right? We we wanna go to where people sell our products or what we know. So that is good. It's just the thing that was lacking for me is there was no quality control from back home to here. And then by the time it arrived in the store, you lose the taste of it. So, and I'm like, why not do something here? Why not create chin chin here and share it with the community, right? So that's how it started. I was just tired of going to major retail store and seeing different aisle for different other community like Asian, Mexican, Italian, but the African continent was not represented enough,
right,
or at all. So
wow,
that's why.
I really commend you. And two things were like in my mind as you were talking is the fact that you chose to create it here in Canada, because I know that most of the chin chin that we have are like imported from other countries like Nigeria. Of course, I'm Nigerian. Okay. Chin chin is very popular in Nigeria. I know you're from Cameroon, right?
Yes.
And when most of them arrive here, the chin chin is soft or is like broken and things like that. So since you started your business, of course, quality control aspect of it, you've like ensured that the chin chin has remained like quality and stuff like that. Starting at that time when it was not popular, what were the challenges that you faced?
Bringing up to Canadian code was very, there is a lot of regulation on food in the food industry. And coming from an insurance background, because I've done insurance for so many years, and all I knew was my mom cooking, right? Like that's all I knew. But then when you started food business here in Canada, there's so many regulation that needs to happen. The nutritional label at the back, your ingredients, all of that need to be tested before approaching like a major retail store, right? So some of the challenges that I had was information, knowledge, resources, which I didn't have. But thank God I found many accelerator programs like the BAE, Foodpreneur Labs, and now Leadingladiesconnect. So yes, because it is important. You cannot do this alone. I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't do this alone.
I know.
Yeah, so I went to maybe 3 or 4 food accelerator program,
right,
so that I could get the knowledge, the resources to come up with the packaging and the way to do it right for Canada standards. Yes.
Wow. And I can tell you for free, I'm just going to hold one of it to show the people. This is one of the best I have had. And honestly, even in the studio before we started recording the episode, everyone had it and it was like so yummy. But I know that, of course, the dream is what keeps you going when you want to give up and stuff like that. How many years now have you been doing this?
2 years. I actually started right after COVID, January 2022.
So you kept your dream since 2003 and you started in, wow. So that's almost like 15 years plus.
Yes.
But I mean, when you start is when you start. Don't get me wrong. Like it's never too late and stuff like that. It's better to start when you start and have an excellent product than if you had started in 2003, probably close up or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I just wanted to put context into like, okay, between when you like conceived your idea and now that you have a final product in your hand, that, anyone who is listening is never really too late, or don't give up on that dream, right?
Correct.
All right. So running your business, how has that shaped you as an individual? Because I know you're a mom, you're a wife, you are other things, so many other things to different people, probably a sister, an auntie. But like, how have you been able to, bring all those parts of you into running this very successful business?
So for me, it's not about the business shaping me. It's more about how I was shaped prior to starting the business.
Right.
So, yes.
Love that.
You mentioned how long it took for me from when I arrived in Canada to where to when I started the business, which I feel like those steps kind of shaped me and gave me the skills, the tools, the confidence, the faith to actually start the business. Like being a mom, being a wife, it's not every, like, it takes your time, it takes your energy, it takes your love, and that, I think that's the one, that those are the qualities that kind of shift me to start the business, if I can put it that way.
Right. Because I mean, if you have so many responsibilities,
Yes.
if you're able to find a way to give attention to what is needed, I think that also helps you better structure your business. Do you agree?
I agree. I also feel like some people, sometimes you have the vision, but not the time where it's going to start.
Right.
So just because you have the vision doesn't mean you have to start right there. Right?
Yeah.
That vision, like I said, was even in high school. I just knew I had something in me that had to come out. But then, you have to grow, basically, right? To be able to get it to where it's supposed to be. The business, because if you don't grow in the meantime, and you get this business and you don't have the skills or the tools to go with it the way it's supposed to be, then of course you will stop. If as soon as there's a challenge, you'll be like, nope, I can't do this anymore, and stuff like that. But I am a mom of 4 boys and 1 girl. Yes,
Oh my
I have
God.
5 children.
Wow.
Plus my husband. So you can understand. The resilience, right?
my
You can understand
gosh.
the
Wow.
strength. It took, yes. So.
As you know, as a woman, smelling good down there is a must. And this products from the dynasty ensures that happens effectively. So I have here the yoni oil, which can be used to relieve itching, scratching, and also eliminates odor and infections. And the yoni cleanser is perfect for everyday use as it balances your pH level and also makes you feel fresh, confident, and feminine. To find out more about the products by the Dynasty, go to their website, or you can follow them on Instagram at the Dynasty Shop or www.dynastyshop.ca. Remember, consult with a physician, as this is not medical advice. Well, you guys might be wondering, like, why am I screaming and saying wow, wow, wow? Because first of all, Gaelle does not even look like she's had 1 child, not to talk of 5, But yeah, I mean, that also shows me that you're able to, coordinate yourself, coordinate your business. And, sometimes there's this popular saying, I don't even know who said it, but like, women cannot have it all, or you have it in different phases and stuff like that. What's your view on that? Do you think women can have it all? Or do you think you can have it all in different phases,
I think each woman has to define what is all for her.
Right.
What is it having all, Right now in this stage of my business, to be honest with you, I am not running. I am just being content with the journey.
Right.
So having it all is not my purpose, to be honest with you. It's just, for me, it's just fulfilling something.
Right. That's your purpose.
Yes, my purpose. So so I do take into account that I have a family and I have children. So I take it at my pace.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't want to compromise too, because if you're running too much, right, and you want to get it all, or you want to go that fast, you end up compromising yourself, compromising your product, which you could lose yourself in that pursuing the having all.
Right.
Yes.
So, I'm sure there were moments where you wanted to give up on your business, right? Before you get into the moments where you get into your business, and how you wanted to, how you encourage yourself to keep going. Is there, of course, do you work from home? Do you sell the products from home? Are they in stores and stuff like that?
Yes. So the first part of your question, moments when I wanted to give up. Yes, I have those moments as well. And I'm sure you're going to ask what keeps you going, right? So for me is I am afraid. We talked about fear earlier, but the reason why I don't stop is because I am afraid of disappointing myself. I am afraid to leave under my expectation. I am afraid to one day look at myself and say, you had this gift and what did you do with it? So that's what keeps me going.
Nice.
And also you ask where I do this.
Yeah, like where you do it from, and then of course where we can find your products. Yes. I'm sure this episode will probably be everywhere. You don't know who might be watching.
I know,
an investor,
I know.
Anybody in any corner of the world could be watching right now. Like, are you online? Do you have LinkedIn, Instagram?
Yes. So I've been doing this for 2 years, and for 2 years I've been to many food markets across the GTA. But I do sell online as well.
You have a website?
I have a website. You can find me on allafricandelight.com. And my next move is to be in those retail stores that I was talking to you about. So that's the next goal for next year. And hopefully you'll see me in those stores soon.
Right. But we're looking for that. Walk across the aisles with the munchies, and then we find, our chin chin from All African Delights. Yeah. So, back to, like, of course, your business and everything else. Do you think that if you had to start over again, do you have things that you would have listed out that you would do differently?
Ooh, that's a good and a tough question. If I have to start over again.
Yeah, so let's take it back to 2022. Before you got into Foodpreneur, Black Entrepreneurship Alliance,
and BAE
and everything. You didn't have all the knowledge you have right now. What would you have done differently?
Wow, Abby, that's tough one.
Okay, so for example, I feel like a lot of businesses, just to help you out there, a lot of business owners don't know about grants and funding opportunities that are available for them.
Okay.
Some people run into, you're starting out, you're getting the big marketing plan, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're spending a lot of money, and your business has not even started generating income. So what are some of the takeaways that you would definitely, now that of course, before you started your business, what you would have done better?
To be honest with you, I haven't tapped into grants yet. Okay. I haven't. I've tried, but I haven't gotten anything yet. What I could have done differently? Ooh. That is tough. Because the reason why I'm saying it's tough is because I haven't taken too many risks.
With your business?
Yes.
Right.
And that probably came with the fact that, like I said, I'm not in a rush to grow big. I am more into going on my own pace and understanding the business since I'm new in the business. So probably one of the things that I probably did at the beginning was paying too much for graphic designs. Yes. Because when you start your business, nothing is set yet in your mind. You just have this big vision, but you don't have the details yet, right? So I rush into having a logo and, which I've changed so many times. That means I pay for it every time I changed it. So
right.
So yes, that could be one of the things that I could definitely change. I will slow down on going too much on creating a logo and then changing it, going this. The other thing was I will trust my instinct better, because I've worked with people that from the beginning I felt like they were not right for me. But because I listened to other people around me, I paid the price for it. So listen to your instinct, which I didn't do.
And trust yourself.
Yeah, and trust yourself, which I didn't do a good job of it at the beginning. And I'm doing it now, now that I've learned my lessons. Yes, so those will be...
Okay. And in also answering that question, just wanted to ask you, before you started your business, did you have a business plan?
I didn't.
Okay.
Why? Is it important?
Well, it's important to have a business plan, at least when you're starting out. And even if maybe not before you start out, once you get the business, moving, you're able to figure out a lot of aspects of your business plan, like what's your revenue forecast, what's your marketing model, and things like that. But just to ask, because that's like some of the challenges that I find. Of course, I talk to hundreds of business owners every other time, and most of them just don't have a plan. And even again, there is a quote that says failure to plan is planning to fail, right? So it's very key, and I know that with us women, especially small business owners,
yes,
we just feel like, I have this idea, I'm going with it. I'm not no plan. What is your business going to look like in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, okay. But I mean, I'm happy to hear like some of your experiences, and I'm sure somebody listening will probably learn something from either sticking to your instincts, no matter what anybody tells you. But then now we have this business now. The business is running, of course, at your own pace. But I just wanted to hear from you as a founder and a visionary. Like, what would the legacy of your business look like to you? Like 20 years from now, 15 years from now, what do you think your business would look like?
For me, it will be showcasing what Africa has to offer. Right. Africa is the continent, right? We have so much food, so much things in Africa. And for me, is to 20 years from now, I want people to think of Africa differently. I want people to look at Africa and say, whew, I didn't know they had this much to offer. I didn't know they have this much diversity, right? There's so much diversity in Cameroon, and just in Cameroon.
Right.
So I'm not even talking about Nigeria and Ghana and all those, like Kenyan, like so much. Just in Cameroon, do you know we have more than 230 different dialects in Cameroon?
Right. Nigeria is like up a notch. I think Nigeria has about 9,000 languages.
Oh my Lord! See, so and every different tribe have different
things
different
that are
food.
unique to them.
Unique to them. So chin chin is just my one. Like I'm starting now with chin chin, but there's so many things that will come after that, and that will be my takeaway. And the takeaway will also be, we are stronger with our differences. When I started doing chin chin at different food market, I thought chin chin was just for Africa.
Right.
Right? I was like, oh, I have this African product. But I was shocked. I was surprised to see people from India, from Europe, from Pakistan, from Ghana, Kenya, coming up to me, from Trinidad, Caribbean, like everyone knew about chin chin. It's just
it was
different
just called
names.
something
Yes,
else.
different
Yeah.
name, different shapes, but they knew about chin chin.
Right.
So, and it taught me, oh, we're not that different, right? Like we use the same thing, but just use them differently. And it kind of, for me, it was just connecting a dot for me. Like, okay, so chin chin is everywhere, and that's where I wanted to be. I just want everyone in Canada and in the world.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that in asking you about the legacy also. I mean, I'm sure that in the next 10, 15 years, you want to be on the aisles and the Walmarts of the world, Loblaws and so on. That would be the dream, of course, when people are picking up a pack of chips.
Yes.
The chin chin will be more popular and people are able to, grab a bag of African delights. All right. So, in that, like, in just like, getting to know, like, you as a business owner, do you have any mentors? Do you believe in mentorship? Do you?
Of course I do. I do. I believe I cannot do this by myself. I have
Right.
so many people around me. My packaging, for example, when I started my the business, my
Right.
packaging was those brown
Yes.
paper craft bags. So I started with those with a sticker. I put the
Right.
sticker, and I have this lady that I know from Foodpreneur, Paula. She was like, Gaelle, I love your product, but then your packaging, it has to pop. You need colors, you need this, you need that. With the BAE, I found this lady, Dina. She was the one who connected me to a graphic designer to do my packaging. Yes.
And it's very, very nice, quite attractive too. It's hard to miss.
So yes, I believe in mentors, right? And there was also, I don't know if you've heard of, there's this Cameroonian business man that was on Dragon's Den, Gaelle Chianga.
Yeah, I think I saw the one that had the offers from the
Taltis Food Inc.
Right.
He worked with me as well.
Wow, nice.
He actually helped me with All African Delight to come up with the name, actually.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, I have so many people around me.
Well, for us at the community in Leading Ladies Connect, we actually do have a mentorship program. It's called Mentor Her. So you're invited to apply. And anyone who is watching online, you can go on our website, www.leadingladiesconnect.com, and search for Mentor Her. You can apply to either be a mentor or a mentee. So, yeah. So, I guess in talking about mentorship, we're back to our initial question. So, if you had, or if you could give a piece of advice to your younger self, in like an all-encompassing advice, which is like from business to like work life, family life, and all that stuff, what would your advice be?
Abi.
We really need to drive this home, because there are a lot of people that will be watching us and they probably can learn one thing or two from you.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So we talked about fear, right? Which for me was huge.
Right.
Being afraid. Being afraid to
What's
start.
your fear?
Like being afraid to start, being afraid to speak up. Like I wasn't 10, 20 years ago, I was not as articulate I am today.
Right.
So I had to come out of my shell, right? So people are afraid of so many things.
Yeah.
So many things. Afraid to disappoint. I feel afraid to not be up to the task.
The standard.
Yes. So fear was bigger, was very big. And then, like I said, trust yourself. Listen to that. We are so distracted.
Right.
And I was, and I still am sometimes, right? With being married, with kids, with work, with family. We are always distracted.
So many things calling for your attention.
Yes, and that little voice is so quiet. So calm, like it doesn't speak too loud. So if you're distracted, you miss it.
You miss it totally.
All the time you miss it. So take the time to quiet everything. Know yourself. That was also big for me.
Right.
Especially as a woman. if you don't know yourself, other people will define you. And it took me a long time to know myself, which is not a bad thing. It took the time that it took, but I am okay with it.
You had to get the lessons along the way.
Yes. Know yourself, trust yourself, don't be afraid, and just start. Nice. Don't wait for things to be perfect to start. Just start.
Right. And I know that this might sound like the answer to the question, but then there might be somebody watching, right, that is like, or listening to us right now, and they're like, I really want to start my business. I'm very passionate about it, but I'm just like, maybe imposter syndrome, maybe just the fear, like you said, or even the fear of, I don't have enough resources to get started. I just wanted you to encourage the person, and you could look into the camera.
Okay.
And let that person know what you think about getting started.
Okay, so if you want to get started, and if you're afraid, think about, why are you afraid, right? Like, why are you afraid? And then try to overcome that fear. Why are you afraid? And when I say start, you don't have to have big resources. When I started Chin Chin, I just bought a bag of flours. So I only made like a kilogram. Like, you don't have to have millions of dollars or thousands of dollars. You just have to start. When you start, people start connecting with you.
Yes.
As opposed to keep it inside. When you keep it inside, no one knows. But when you start, it looks like you are attracting people to yourself. That will actually give you the resource you need to take one step at a time. So sometimes people are afraid to start because you're afraid of the pressure, because you want to go quick, right? So starting is going at your pace. So just start. If it's just baking, just start baking. And then try to go to food market and try to sell it. And once you start like that, you start getting reviews from customers, right? Like for me, when I started, I'll give you an example. When I started my Chin Chin, I didn't do the shape. I did the round shape.
The square one.
Well, yes. No, not even the square one. Round. The one that's in Cameroon, like we're more used to balls like this, small. Yeah. When I started it, I went to food market. Guess what? I spent the first day, I spent the whole day explaining to people, it's not chickpeas. That's not chickpeas. Because they will keep asking me, is that chickpeas? Is that chickpeas? Is that chickpeas? I'm like, no, it's Chin Chin. It's Chin. So that gives you an idea of what people are thinking when, and if I didn't do that, I wouldn't know. If I didn't start like that, right? So go to food market, especially if it's food. I don't know about other businesses, but if it's food, just start.
Yeah, so your advice to anyone who is considering starting will be, start from where you are, start with what you have, and your other resources and people will come
to you. You will attract the resource.
Wow, that's amazing, amazing. So, Gaelle, I know you're doing very well. By God's grace, of course, it will get better and better. But what do we expect from you, going forward in the future? And, any initiatives you want to share with us?
Wow. Okay. Like I said earlier, I'm speaking with 2 major retail stores right now. Yes, so that's my next goal. And that was thanks to the Sedulous woman. I don't know if you heard of them, but she's Nigerian too.
Oh,
she's a leading lady. Yes,
awesome.
So Sedulous woman. So because of that group, I was able to pitch in front of many major retail stores, and now I'm talking to 2 of them, right?
Awesome.
So that's next. But as far as food markets, my next big food market, I'm still crossing my fingers and waiting for them, is One of a Kind. I don't know if you heard of One of a Kind. Food.
Where is it?
It's going to be in Toronto.
When?
Yes, in spring 2025.
Right.
So that's where I would be.
Okay. So before your big markets and your programming and everything else, where on the internet can we find you? What's your Instagram, your website, your Twitter, Facebook, everything?
I am so bad with Instagram.
Look.
So and I'm hoping Danny, who is here, is going to be taking my hand and fixing that up for me. So
you need to do better with social media. Honestly, I think a lot of female founders are actually guilty of like, oh, I don't know how to do Instagram. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. You need to do more, because the more you put yourself out there, the more people would see you and find you, right?
Because we wear so many hats at the beginning. You're the seller. You're the maker of your product. You're the social media. Like you do everything yourself. Right. So it's kind of hard. But so you can find me on the internet at allafricandelight.com.
Right.
That's the website. You want to follow me on Instagram at All African Delight. And then on Facebook as well at All African Delight. Same thing. Awesome. That's all I have for now.
Awesome. So, I mean, in wrapping up our conversation, thank you so much for, joining us on this exciting episode for Leading Ladies Talks. I know you've been part of the Leading Lady community. Not too long, but just share with us what your experience has been being part of the community.
So far, very good, Abby. Like, I met you just was it last week or a couple of weeks ago? And I love your personality. I met Danny today. I also love her personality. So the vibe is there. The connection is there. I actually went on your website and I applied for the pitch competition that's coming.
Yay!
Yes!
Come on.
I went on Leadingladiesconnect.
Wow, that's nice.
So I applied for that. I'm looking forward for the mentorship program as well. Like I said, I know I cannot do it myself, I by myself. So I need to surround myself with like-minded women, right? Mm-hmm. It could be lonely. It is lonely here. So, right. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be part of this community. I can't wait to see what we're going to do together.
Yes.
I am hoping this episode will return with better women.
Right.
And leading women.
All right. So thank you so much, Danny, for putting this together, and of course, Gaelle, for joining us on this exciting episode, sharing your journey as an entrepreneur, a mom, a business founder, everything nice, and of course, leading this billion-dollar empire that we're holding in our hands right now. Of course, do you not think it's a billion-dollar business?
Oh, it is. It is.
From Canada to America to so many other countries.
Europe, yes.
To Europe,
and back to Africa, why
and
not?
so on. Thank you for joining us. And like Danny said, you can find her online, allafricandelights.com. And this is me saying thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Leading Ladies Connect. For those that don't know what Leading Ladies Connect is about, it's a community created to connect women to each other, to opportunities and God. And of course, we have our big conference coming up next year in March. And then our really big conference coming up in May 3rd, 2025. To find out more about our programming and our initiatives, please go on our website, www.leadingladiesconnect.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Leading Ladies Talks. Thank you, and stay well. Bye.